Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you, ladies and gentlemen. You are reading this title correctly. Splinter Cell is back. It's home. We are getting a fucking remake. Look at the screen. Remake of the original Splinter Cell. I never thought this day would come. Because I think I've mentioned this before in previous videos, probably ones related to Ubisoft and E3 and whatnot, that I consider myself a big fan of Splinter Cell. I love the games, even though Convictions is the only one I've actually played and beaten. But I watched Sinistrain 01's walkthroughs of the Splinter Cell games when the HD collection first came out, and from then I was hooked, man. I was there for Blacklist watching his Let's Play. I was there when he did Double Agent and Conviction. I love Splinter Cell, man. I love the lore, I love the story, I love Sam Fisher, I love Splinter Cell. And like I love you, I've been wanting another game since Blacklist. And now we are finally getting it, ladies and gentlemen. And I couldn't be happier, man. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. All right, let's go. No captions.
Splinter Cell is back. Ubisoft Toronto has begun work on a remake of Sam Fisher's most classic operations, and with the series' return on the horizon, it's the perfect time to look back at the game that started it all.
What the hell? I'm going to ask you some questions, but I think you're lying.
I love Michael Ironsides.
Who do you work for?
Splinter Cell launched back in 2002, a time when Ubisoft was best known as the company that made Rayman, a bright and colorful platformer. Splinter Cell was not that.
Different times,
It was a dark and
times.
serious stealth action game that favored slow, methodical movements over frantic action. And no one was quite sure how fans would react.
Maybe it's better if I didn't see anything.
To find out more about the development of that first game and the lasting effects it had, we spoke to some of the folks that helped launch the original Splinter Cell and some that are helping to bring it back.
Sam Fisher. I can't believe you beat me here. I like to be early.
Very first time we really understood that we had a hit.
Brand director
is, I guess, when we were talking to Microsoft.
Currently managing director of Ubisoft Films and Television.
But it wasn't
Paris.
validated by anything, and we never had
What
a
else
hit.
movies is Ubisoft working on besides Assassin's Creed? That was like the only movie, right?
Microsoft
What else are they
came to
working
us
on?
And
I'm legitimately curious what
they knew also
other
something
things they're
was
trying to
up,
adapt to
and
film
they were
and TV.
considering it for their E3 showcase at the time for showing off the Xbox. And it was super scary for us because we're like, how are people going to react? We don't know because it's very dark. Is it going to come through nicely on the screen? Is it going to show off its colors?
The feedback we received from E3 was so incredible. So it just gave us a huge push to get things done and get this game to the level of the expectations.
Probably for E3 and for our competitors and for for players at large, it probably came out of nowhere.
There was this whole, who is Ubisoft? It was a transformation of what Ubisoft could do and how they were regarded.
That was very special.
Of what
Current creative director, Star Wars game. Oh yeah, right. Ubisoft's working on a Star Wars game. When did that get announced? I forget.
Ubisoft could do and how they were regarded.
That was very special because at that time at Ubisoft Montreal, we were producing games, but we were not in a AAA mindset at that time. And this game became somehow a great inspiration from the teams. And from that moment, when Splinter Cell did release with a very cool feedback and nice reviews and nice popularity as well, this has been an incredible trigger for the whole studio to reach for this level of achievement for other games.
But what exactly was it that drew in audiences at that E3? What did Splinter Cell do that set it apart from the crowd? The answer, as it turns out, was pretty black and white.
Light, shadow. It's instantly relatable and instantly something that you know how to play with.
People paid attention because they had never seen such amazing visuals at first. That whole shadow and light was beautiful, and it was giving a dimension that they had never played with.
And it had to do with the Xbox and the ability of the
Assassin's
Xbox to
Creed
render these dynamic lights with dynamic shadows,
oh boy!
And dynamic real-time shadows. And
I'm very curious to know what that's about.
It was really the ambition of the team early on to push the visual fidelity of the game as far as we could. The way art and level design had to work together to deal with, how dynamic lights would affect the gameplay as well as the visuals was probably one of the biggest challenges of development.
It was one of those times where a game came out and just really had a brilliant presentation.
Hey, AC Unity!
Was so critical for the
actual... PS3 game?
Had a brilliant...
It's Blacklist! Let's go, we got Blacklist.
Brilliant presentation that was so critical for the actual design itself. So you can only imagine how exciting that would have been for the team.
The first time we saw the fish tanks that you could shoot the fish tanks and the water would lower down with the stream and down to the level of the bullet hole, and then it would stop, and you could keep shooting it and lowering it. Little tweaks like that, little surprises that people just found the time and the energy to put in to add the polish and the care to the game. That was great.
I remember thinking to myself, I was super blown away by the tech advances that were part of that game, the stencil shadows and the moving cloth, and
this game still looks really good. Even though this is an original Xbox game, it still looks really good. This game came out
visually was amazing.
2003.
The light effects were remarkable, ahead of anything else that was being done at the time. But it was even more than that.
The use and exploitation of light and shadow set Splinter Cell apart from its competitors. But it would take more than that to deliver on the development team's promise. A promise they felt so strongly about, they put it right on the box art.
Stealth Action Redefined was born out of the fact that this was a challenge to the god of tactical espionage action, which was Metal Gear Solid.
Hell yeah!
Was really the mission that Splinter Cell.
Hell yeah, going head to head with Kojima. Okay, you love to see.
If we're going to take espionage,
you love to see someone having the balls to challenge the goat.
How are we going to position that in a way that fits the Tom Clancy?
It actually holds their own too.
Values as well.
We had Rainbow Six. Redstone was working on Ghost Recon. Those were obvious Tom Clancy games. But Splinter Cell came from Montreal, and Montreal wasn't working on Tom Clancy at the time. And when we looked at it, we looked at the fantasy, we looked at the realism and the techno-thriller aspect of it. We figured that would perfectly fit under Tom Clancy.
Back then, there was a lot of a lot of games that were very kind of heavy on just shoot, kill, be done. That's how you get through these situations. Splinter Cell made you slow down, it made you think, it made you kind of try to understand the threats that were ahead of you, and it layered all of those features together. And it rewarded players for thinking differently, for being a bit more kind of patient with the way that they chose to solve those situations.
The idea of being the one who can make the difference, who can go into those places that no one's supposed to be able to go to and do what no one's supposed to be able to do, that's an incredibly powerful fantasy, and it's a lot of fun to be that person.
We used an
does he look like Alfred
Molina at the time?
Anybody have a line back to third echelon?
I'm here, Fisher.
What the hell's going on?
Nicolad's just declared war on the U.S.
What?
Now it's something that a lot of people do, a lot of game publishers. It's kind of normal, but at the time it wasn't. And we really looked at it like, first it was a Clancy brand, so we looked at it like something bigger than just a video game, marketed it that way, and created a persona.
Sam's a great character. He's smart, he's funny, he's fast, he does what he can do with a minimum of waste. He's high speed, low drag, and he's just an incredibly fun character to play.
While Sam is unequivocally the star of the Splinter Cell franchise, let's be honest, he'd get nowhere without his signature night vision goggles. Not only are they an essential tool in Sam's arsenal, they're the symbol of the entire franchise. Those 3 green dots and that iconic sound, yep, that sound is enough to know exactly what game you're dealing with.
The sound came in very late, and I think that we didn't realize how important and valuable it was until someone said, we really got to have a much more iconic sound in here somewhere, and it had this kind of very military feel to it. We were trying to create something that felt very realistic and modern, and just because of the speed at which technology moves, it kind of became its own thing in time, and it adhered to sort of the genuineness of it and kind of stuck.
19 years ago, Splinter Cell put Ubisoft on the map and changed the landscape for stealth action games across the industry. Now, thanks to the upcoming remake, a brand new generation can experience the best Splinter Cell has to offer. For future updates on the Splinter Cell remake, follow this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
Yep. Alright, yep, Snowdrop, which I believe that's the same engine that's being done that the Avatar game is using, that the Division is also using as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, and I'm also hyped for this crossover we're going to be having with AC Valhalla and Odyssey. I think it's pretty cool that we're actually getting like a crossover. But yeah, man, this is so fucking awesome. We are actually 2002 is when the first game came out. This is so fucking awesome that it's 2021. But they probably released this remake on the 20th anniversary. Hopefully not, because they're saying now hiring. I think that means the game's still in the early stages. But we might see. I don't know. Maybe it will come out on the 20th anniversary. Maybe that's when they'll show off a trailer or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, guys, I am so happy and excited that Splinter Cell is finally back. We are finally getting a new game after these rivers have been dry. This has been a goddamn desert for like what? Almost 10 years now. I think because Blacklist came out what, 2013, I believe. So yeah, man, I'm hyped. I'm excited for the return of Splinter Cell. I'll probably be picking it up if I can get a next-gen console by then. Anyway, guys, that's going to this video off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.